Hey guys, I'm Jax and this is my spoiler review for Deadpool and Wolverine. Please stop watching if you have not seen the movie. I am going to ruin everything. And by everything, I mean the things that are important. And by that, I of course mean the cameos. There are definitely other things in this film. Could I spoil the plot for you? Sure! If I remembered it, if it mattered. It doesn't. The thing that matters in Deadpool 3 is the action, the emotion, mostly the silly jokes they say where Deadpool's like, it's a meta commentary on a thingy. You can't really spoil that. He just does a Deadpool over all the scenes. What you can spoil though is the cameos. And oh boy, do we get some juicy, spectacular, shocking cameos. The cameos in this movie were so overwhelming, I genuinely couldn't believe it at times. My jaw on the floor. All of that stuff, classic, just fanboying out band. Like so many times I look to my mate, I look to my brother, and I'm like, wow. Like genuinely, wow. But because Deadpool 3 did so much in terms of cameos and utilizing the multiverse, potentially ending the multiverse, but not really, but maybe. It did so much, and it did it in a way where I think only Deadpool can do it. Like certain characters would appear, and the way they interacted with Deadpool in the Deadpooliverse style of filmmaking just totally fits that tongue-in-cheek meta self-parody kind of thing. And there's so many things that Deadpool can do in a Deadpool movie that I don't really think you can do in other movies. Like, I don't think you can do in a Secret Wars or something, or a Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness Part 2, this time it's actually a Multiverse of Madness. There's a style and a tone to Deadpool that totally fits this self-referential, fan-servicey cameo fest. And I think what it does and what it gives us, honestly, so spectacular. I'm going to be talking about all of it. So good. But it did make me wonder, and it did make me a little disappointed, that it kind of didn't do more. And by more, I don't mean just put another character in, put this guy in, just to have them in. No. I'm talking about things that specifically would only really work in a Deadpool movie. Because this did so much. I loved it so much. It did so much. It should have done more. It should have gone weirder. It should have gone more insane. There are a certain couple of things that I think I genuinely can't believe they didn't do. It feels like such an odd, wasted opportunity to not do them. Enough tiptoeing about whatever I'm saying. Let's get to the list. Wolverine variants, in brackets, the Wolverine recruiting montage, in a different type of bracket. You know, the brackets have got the little kind of arrows pointing out, but like little ones. Mostly the Wolverine comic accurate sized Hugh Jackman Wolverine. But when I say comic accurate, he's not at all. There's a moment where he steps out and he's like, I'm a short little Hugh Jackman, and they've CGI'd him onto a little man or whatever. But isn't Wolverine meant to be 5'2"? I don't know why that's in my head. I recently listened to this audio play thing or something. That guy from The Hobbit's in it. It's really good. The Long Trail, The Lost Night or something. It is really good, but I swear in it, they were like, Wolverine, he's 5'2", and all these henchmen are like, that's short! And they thought they could beat him up. Then Wolverine's like, I'm actually Wolverine. And he killed them all. Probably. I don't remember. But I feel like in my head, 5'2". Hugh Jackman as little comic accurate sized Hugh Jackman Wolverine was not 5'2". He wasn't even Danny DeVito 4'9" or whatever he is. He was like 3'7". He was like Hobbit size. He was like pocket size. You could pick him up, put him in your pocket. Not that you would want to. I mean, if he's in the pocket, he's pretty close to... So, what I really liked about this is that they took something that I never really imagined they would do, and they would do comic accurate sized Wolverine, which I feel like a lot of us want for the new MCU Wolverine, to set him apart, make him feel different, make him kind of feel comic accurate. But they're just like, what if we just make him small, but put Hugh Jackman's head on it? And then they add that, and they go, but it would be funny if he's like not even comic accurate size, just like real tiny. Wouldn't that just be funny? Yeah, it was pretty funny. So in this montage where Deadpool is trying to find a new Wolverine, he's like, where's my Wolverine that's going to do the team-up movie? Because it can't be Logan, because he's actually dead. I desecrated his corpse and killed so many people with his bones in so many different ways, which is honestly maybe my favorite scene in the whole movie. Just, of all the things I imagined this movie would do, for Deadpool to start the movie being like, how are we going to honor the legacy of Logan? We bloody won't, mate! And he just grabs the corpses, smashing people's bodies. Just so much very stylized CGI violence. And I like that they did so much stylized blood at the start. It kind of like warms you in. It kind of like gets you ready for how much CGI blood there's going to be. Every single blood splatter or blood explosion is so CGI, but it kind of, it's a fun kind of cartoonish thing, and they can kind of probably go a lot further than Disney would allow if the blood looked real. So I kind of liked that, but I liked how like much they did at the start, and none of it was real. Like, it was all just the exact same stylish, cartoonish CGI blood. So you're like, oh, okay, we're doing this. This is what the movie's going to feel and look like, and it settles you in, while also Deadpool's like doing a dance while like, I don't know, humping Wolverine's corpse or whatever he was doing. And so as Deadpool tries to find his new Wolverine for the movie, and he goes through a montage of characters, everything we get and everything we see is so fun. It's so inventive and exciting and interesting. I presumably all comic like references or whatever. I don't read X-Men comics, so I'm not aware of them. But there's a moment where there's just a bunch of like skulls, like bloody skulls, and there's a big cross, and it's all yellow, and like he's hung up like Jesus, and he's all like, ah! Madness, insanity, and it's so fast-paced, the montage, because it's obviously trying to do the montage, do all these fun little things to get us to the actual Wolverine that we're going to actually spend time with. And this is where I think the issues start to appear, and the cracks start to appear in terms of just the pace and the structure, and I don't know, I guess each person will feel differently. Like, some people are going to watch this and go, oh, I just want them to do the montage, but do it quickly and get to the story and the emotion and the actual Wolverine we're going to see. But for me, this is a Deadpool movie that we're dealing with the multiverse, we're dealing with time travel, we can deal with whatever. Deadpool can just do whatever. Just get the time travel thing from the last movie and just do whatever. I don't care about the plot. Clearly, the writers don't care about the plot because the plot is nonsense and stupid. There's a point where Tom from Succession is like, I'm the TVA and the plot is this and I've got a big MacGuffin that's going to kill the world or whatever. And I literally remember thinking, like, I was so into the movie. I was like, this is 20 out of 10. And then he started talking. I'm like, whoa. Shut up? That's terrible. Is that the... Ooh, that's the plot. Okay. Stop talking and make a joke. And as I was thinking that, he's also like, something, Deadpool joke. And I'm like, okay. Let's just keep it to action and references and Deadpool comedy and then cameos. Because if we're doing plots, I don't want to watch this movie because the plot is nonsense and dumb and stupid. Just do big things. I mean... People aren't going to agree with this, I imagine. But I kind of almost would be like, this should just be of like a Naked Gun sketch comedy style movie. And in a lot of ways it almost is, but I feel like it doesn't fully commit. Because I feel like if it was just big scenes and chunks of movie where it's just like, for 5 minutes, we're just doing this. Just deal with it. It's like almost skit show, kind of frenetic. And I don't even like skit shows, but I feel like for this and for what movie it's trying to do and for what it essentially feels like anyway, but they kind of string it together with like this really half-baked nothing generic plot with a big MacGuffin that does a thing, and there's emotional moments that do kind of work because the actors are very, very good actors. But you're kind of like... I don't know. I'm here for the action and the gore and the comedy and the cameos and to do things that we can't do in other movies. You can do it, but then point at it and be like, it's so stupid that we're doing this. And you can take it further than other movies can take it. And I just don't think they really actually did that. And so in this recruiting Wolverine montage where he goes through a bunch of different timelines and he tries to find a Wolverine, we get a bunch of comic references or whatever, but it's just Hugh Jackman and a bunch of different Wolverine things. And then at one point, he gets to a Wolverine, his back turned to him, and then he turns around and he's like, it's Henry Cavill! It's Superman! It's The Witcher! Sorry, it's season 1 to 3 The Witcher. It's that guy from that other movie. It's Superman. It's Henry Cavill, it's Superman, and he's all like, oh, I'm Wolverine. You bloody get out of here. And he punches him and you're like, oh, this is so exciting! And then Deadpool flies through a TVA time portal. And it's like, oh, cool. You got Henry Cavill for just a cameo and just like it's so fun to see him, but I feel like there are so many missed opportunities where I'm like, I would have liked to see him chop Deadpool's head off, maybe kick him and stab him, like do a thing, maybe give him a couple of lines of dialogue. And I understand the movie's like, we just got to keep going because we got to get to the actual Wolverine. But like, you don't have to. You could just like spend 5 more minutes with Henry Cavill as Wolverine, because I love seeing him, and I'm like, oh, it's him, it's Henry Cavill, I love him! You know what I would have loved more? For him to do something, like to really do something. I want these cameos to feel more juicy. And yes, we get to cameos that do the juicy stuff and have actual dialogue and moments and emotion and stuff. Why can't like a lot of them have that? Because I feel like some work better. Like the guys on the cross. He's all like, ah! I don't need to know about that Wolverine. It's clearly some kind of post-apocalyptic, horrendous nightmare universe. Leave him alone. That's funny. The little one, yeah. I mean, I'd love to see him in the movie for more. Maybe come back in the third act for a fight scene or whatever. But sure, throw him to the side. But you get Henry Cavill for a day. Just get him for 3 days and have him say some words. Am I being a greedy, disgusting nerd who's just never satisfied? Yeah, that's literally the point of this video. Speaking of things that I love seeing, and then when it ended, I went, oh, that's it? Okay, a little disappointing. We have a moment where Deadpool rocks up and he's like, Wolverine, oh my god, you're in the brown suit. Oh my god, your original appearance or whatever. And then Deadpool sees that Wolverine's there. He's like, hey, didn't you bloody fight the Hulk in your first appearance? Reference the comics. And we all go, I know that thing. I read comics. Or if you're like me, you're like, I know that thing. I listen to a podcast. And those podcasters claim they read comics and maybe they Googled us or maybe they read the comic. I'm taking their word for it and their word is gospel. And so then we get a brief half a second moment where you see Mark Ruffalo's Hulk and like the audience, the audience, there was like actually like 400 people there, which is so weird. Usually I see a movie opening day and it's me and one old guy at the end who just sees every movie ever, I guess because he's got nothing else to do. It's so weird to see a movie with like actual people in it, but the audience was like, oh, it's the Hulk! We're gonna actually see the Hulk pick up Wolverine and rip him in half. Because that's all we want to see. And you can't have the Hulk do that to Wolverine in an Avengers movie. Like in Avengers 5, you can't pick the like Wolverine up and rip him in half and have gore fall everywhere. Because you can't do that in that movie. What movie can you do that in? Funny you ask. It's Deadpool 3! Ah! And sure, it'll happen in Deadpool 4 and 5 and 6 or whatever. I want to see it now. What if I die tomorrow? Oh my god, what if I die tomorrow? I just do not understand. Like, seeing him was cool. It's like, that's a reference. And I pointed to the screen and we all clapped and high-fived. We're all like, yeah, Wolverine and the Hulk. But I really would have preferred to see Wolverine fight the Hulk. And maybe Deadpool fight the Hulk and like fully fight them. In fact, one of my predictions for this movie, for a video I didn't end up making because I'm so lazy, I wanted, like my main big thing I wanted to see was not just one Hulk fight Wolverine, but I wanted to see Mark Ruffalo's Hulk's there, but then portals are opening or whatever, and then Edward Norton's Hulk appears, and they look different, but they're meant to be the same Hulk, but also time travel, multiverses, whatever, who cares, have them both there. Then Lou Ferrigno rocks up, and he's all like, I'm also here, and you're like, well, that Hulk is gonna get killed. And immediately, just shot in the head or whatever, Deadpool just pops him, because he's a tiny little Hulk. And then we could get Ang Lee's Hulk, and he rocks up, he's all green, and then everyone's like, guys, it's too bright, because he's such a bright Hulk, you know, make fun, make jokes, do a Deadpool thing. Have them all there, have them all fighting, and then maybe She-Hulk rocks up, and she's like, looks at the camera, and she's like, this is a lot of Hulk testosterone or something. And then Deadpool looks at her, and he's like, you can't do that. I know they do that later with other Deadpool, but do it with She-Hulk as well. I just don't understand. If we're doing the Deadpool, if we're doing a multiverse, just like, go for broke. 12 out of 10. Not like a 7 or 8 out of 10. What are we doing here? Just having them on screen and having Hulk for 2 seconds, and it's not even a full shot of him. It just feels like a cock tease, but not an exciting cock tease where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see them in another movie. I'm just like, this is the movie to do it. Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you do it? Speaking of things that I'm like, why didn't you do it? Why didn't you do it? We get so many Wolverine variants that are Hugh Jackman just playing different Wolverines. And throughout the whole movie, Deadpool like pairs off against other Deadpools. Specifically, sexy, handsome, doesn't have his mask off, non-scarred, young, sexy, nice Pool. I don't know who did that. He was nice Pool. Nice Pool. And that banter between just horrible, evil, not evil, but you know, horribly scarred and monstrous and anti-hero Deadpool. Our Deadpool. The main Deadpool. And Nice Pool. That banter together, so good. I would have loved to see a Wolverine, like the Wolverine we follow in the movie, bounce off with another Wolverine. Maybe comic accurate size, but actually smaller size Wolverine. Have them bounce off each other. Not just be like, it's a reference, he's small, do you get it? Because I'm like, I get it. But I feel like on a rewatch, I'm like, yeah, no, I remember. But it's like not actually anything rather than just like a point and a reference. Whereas like, how good would it have been if they were bouncing off each other? Because Nice Pool was awesome. A highlight of the movie, very, very funny. Simple, they're just the opposite of each other, but clever. He also couldn't heal. Very, very funny. Because of course we just presumed he would heal. Why is he the only Deadpool that doesn't heal? Very funny. And it's the interaction, the differences, and bouncing off each other. If we're doing a multiverse, can't we just do the multiverse like fully? I felt like this was the last gasp hurrah of the multiverse. They even say in the movie, they're like, this is the last time we're going to do a big multiverse because everyone hates those movies. And I don't even hate those movies. I like almost all of them, save an Ant-Man 3. Even though on the rewatch, I'm like, this isn't the worst film ever made. I mean, it's still in like the bottom 10 though, obviously. I genuinely can't believe it. And this was when I'm talking, we're getting weird, we're getting wacky, we're getting what I would consider before I saw the movie, a Deadpool 3 type of thing to do. I genuinely can't believe, I cannot fathom in my possible mind of minds why we did not get Hugh Jackman as himself, the actor. Hugh Jackman playing himself, Hugh Jackman the actor. I swear, my prediction for the start of the movie was going to be Deadpool's like, I've got to do a Deadpool and Wolverine movie because that's the title of the movie or whatever he says, which is pretty much what he says. He's like, we got to do the thing or whatever. And then he's like, I got to go recruit a Wolverine. And he goes and he sees him and he's in a bar or whatever doing a Wolverine type thing. And he's like, hey, Wolverine, come with me. And he's like, I'm not Wolverine. I'm Hugh Jackman, the actor. What is this? You're cosplaying as Deadpool? And there's this whole thing, and he's like, no. And he opens a portal, and they jump through together, and Hugh Jackman's the actor just being like, hey, bro, I'm just the actor, what's going on? No. And Deadpool tries to take Hugh Jackman, playing himself, Hugh Jackman the actor, on the adventure, and he's like, no, you're clearly Wolverine, stop being a dick about this, ba-ba-de-ba. And then, someone shoots, like, Hugh Jackman in the face, and he dies, and then Deadpool just, like, stands over his body for, like so long that it's funny for like 10 seconds. Then after the 10 seconds, you're like, it's not really funny anymore. It's gone for too long. But then it's gone for so long, it's funny again. One of those jokes. And you just like watch him look at the body and then he just looks at the camera and is like, I guess that was Hugh Jackman. And then just continue on with the montage of trying to recruit a Wolverine. I don't understand why that wasn't in the movie. I don't understand. I don't understand. Surely I can't be the only one that thinks that would just be spectacular and exciting and hilarious and just everything. That was all I wanted from this movie. And despite the fact that I absolutely love this movie, I loved it so very much. 5 stars on Letterboxd because I have no shame. And also I'm like, I don't know, I guess it could be a 4.5 because like some things are wrong. But also the experience I have was spectacular. But just in hindsight, when I was like sitting there talking with my mates and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, that didn't happen. It's like when I think about like, oh, it's weird we didn't get a Danny DeVito as Wolverine cameo. It's weird we didn't get a Daniel Radcliffe cameo as Wolverine. Things where I'm just like, just do the thing. Does it cost money? Sure. But also, I feel like if you just ask them like really nicely, they just do it for the cheap. Well, maybe not. Maybe they suck and they would just be like, no, that wouldn't be absolutely hilarious and I'll do it for not as much as it would cost. Also, Disney, you got all the money. Make the movie we all want to see, instead of continually making the Marvels again and again and again, which you've been doing for years now. You wanted to bring us back? Have Deadpool accidentally kill the actor, Hugh Jackman. That's all we want. That's all I want. To be clear, I love Hugh Jackman as an actor. I just think it'd be a really fun scene. I don't want any harm to come to him. Honestly, he's the only reason I feel proud to be Australian. It's definitely not the government. So I would love to keep talking about the cameos that did work, but I've got myself into a little bit of a vibe where I'm like, I'm getting negative. Don't get me wrong. Love the movie. As I said, 5 stars, Letterboxd. Maybe I cut that bit. Who knows? It's gone for a while. Stuff will be cut. Another Wolverine that I thought we would get, and I think it would be really fun to just do it for a second, is, and like Spider-Verse 2 proved that this works and you can make it work visually without it being just off and not working. You do the reverse of what Spider-Verse 2 did, and you have animated, and not just animated X-Men Wolverine, just from like whatever, but do the X-Men 97, like do that Wolverine that you've just hyped up. He was in like 3 scenes. I respect that. I love that the only property of X-Men that Wolverine isn't the main character that they've done is the new X-Men 97. I loved it. It was, oh my god, it was really good. Have that Wolverine appear, and he's all like, oh, Bob, and he's animated, and they're all just like, what the hell? Like a portal opens, he falls in, and they're all just like, ah, oh, I guess the void. Yeah, I guess one thing in the movie that kind of not baffled me, but I was like, oh, I just presumed they'd be jumping through portals, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness style, like that 2-second montage where it's like, bum, 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 and they goes through all the portals of all the different worlds. I thought it was going to be that, but like slower. Like he'd land and he'd be like, I'm in Elektra's world. Oh my god! Shoots her in the head or she dies or whatever. And they keep jumping to all the different Fox movies. But instead, all the Fox movies, all the main characters, they get varianted into, or tasered, or not varianted. They get the Loki thing. The Loki... You've seen Loki, or you haven't. What are you doing watching this video if you haven't seen Loki? I mean, you haven't got this far if you haven't seen Loki. I know that for a fact. Tasered? Lasered? Pruned! Oh my god, that was gonna bloody kill me. And so everybody's pruned and they're put in the thing. So the best time to do like an animated character is just like we're doing the usual landscape as this beautiful wide field or whatever. So I loved in The Void that it was just like, The Void's just whatever. Like I thought The Void was this very samey wasteland in Loki, but it's like, no, The Void is just the world. Like you can go and you're like, now we're just in some field in England. Now we're in a forest. Now it's Mad Max. It's just whatever. And I like that. But I don't understand why there wasn't a variant of Wolverine that was animated and he's just there in the wasteland. Like, you don't need to have him do much. Like, there are certain cameos that I think you should have used and utilized longer and for more. But something like animated, have him there for 10 seconds and he's all like, rah, rah, rah. And then, I don't know, Lady Xavier is all just like, flay him. But it's like animated flying. I don't know. They did so much and yet I'm just... It's not that I was disappointed. It was just that, like, if you're going to do the things you did and do, you don't want to just, like, do everything and just do more and just make this the multiverse movie and then cap it off and end it off. Because they say in this movie, they're like, yeah, the multiverse is done. We're done with the multiverse. Stop asking for the multiverse. And honestly, if this had done all the things I wanted, maybe not everything I wanted, but, like, if they had done, like, a little bit more, like 20% more, I don't think I'd want any more multiverse ever. Whereas this movie makes me go, I still need to see 4 Hulks fight a Wolverine. You didn't do it. So now you got to do it. So now you got to keep doing multiverse stuff. Because we're doing multiverse, but you still haven't really properly done multiverse. Okay, so I've been super negative. It's been unnecessarily negative. I didn't mean to be so negative. Let's talk highlights. Chris Evans, he's back. Spoilers. Human Torch. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. But also super obvious, like... It's something where it's like, it's exactly how I imagined. Where Deadpool's like, oh my god, it's Chris Evans, which clearly means it's Captain America. He's gonna say the classic Captain America line. But of course he says the classic Human Torch line. And it just plays out exactly like that. As my brother put it, after we saw the film, it's like, it's everything I wanted. But they did exactly how you would imagine they would do it. And it kind of feels like a bit like, I'm not as clever as a really good screenwriter. Am I? I'm not. Like, what? No. Like, it should be better. It should be more than you could imagine. Like the start of the movie where he just, like, grabs Logan's body parts and beats people to death with it. Desecrating the corpse and the legacy of Logan literally before he figuratively and metaphorically does it with the movie itself. I never would have thought of that. Genius. The way they do Human Torch is like, yeah, I get it. He's Deadpool. He's rude. He's rude. It's so good. When he gets flayed, I was like... I'm having more fun talking about the things that annoyed me, if I'm being honest. But no, to be fair, when Chris Evans rocked up, like when there's the guy who's got the cloak on and Deadpool's like, that's the greatest guy ever! Every nerd in the world loves this guy! He's the greatest human being that's ever lived! I'm like, oh my god, if this is Chris Evans as Human Torch, I'll never not be happy again. And guess what? I saw it yesterday. Already, still, once again, just... not very happy. So let's get to the big cameos and talk about why they are so exciting and amazing. And I will talk about my very last cameo that I am surprised they didn't do, even though I understand why they didn't do it. So, Blade's in this movie. I cannot believe that Wesley Snipes, notoriously, infamously horrible on set in at least the third Blade movie, maybe even the second one, I can't remember. But everyone hated him, and Ryan Reynolds was on Blade 3. And so they've buried the hatchet. They're friends now. Or maybe Ryan Reynolds was never there and that's why he's got the mask on the whole time. And it was a stunt double. Who knows what happened, but seeing him was crazy. It was... The thing that I thought was a little crazier, though, was that he's like, I'm the only Blade. And then Deadpool like looks at the camera all Deadpool style and it's like, when did they film that? How long have they known that Blade, like MCU Blade, new Blade, is 100% cancelled? Because every single week for the last 4 years, they've hired every director they could possibly get for a Blade movie, and then they fired them a week later. Every writer, fired them a week later. The fact that the main actor for Blade is still on board is madness. Also, he's 100% leaving. I wonder, did they know the Blade movie was being cancelled and they were just gonna announce it was being cancelled, and then Deadpool, or Ryan Reynolds or whatever, was like, can I make a joke about it in the movie, and then after the movie, like, give it 3 weeks and then cancel it? So I can make a joke, like a little funny, and everyone goes, "Wow, it's so current and referentially humorous. How did he know?" Because he spoke to Kevin Feige, and Kevin Feige's like, "We are not making a Blade movie." Because he's like, "I'm the only Blade ever," and it's like, yeah, 5 years ago they said absolutely not, but now, yeah, they're not making that movie. So the only moment of Blade in the MCU now that it's 100% confirmed cancelled by Deadpool is that time when Jon Snow went to pick up a sword, and then like a guy behind him was like, "Don't pick up that sword, bro." But he didn't even say, "I'm Blade," to pick up the sword. He's just like, you just had to read it online later. Where you're like, who was that guy? Was that the sword talking? Like, what's going on? Was that a second sword telling him not to pick up that sword, to pick up a second different sword that was also magically cursed? But no, it was Blade. That's how they introduced Blade. Introduced slash exited Blade. Oh, the MCU. Shambles. Also, Elektra's in this movie. I haven't seen Elektra. I saw the other one where she's dancing on the playground or whatever. That's good stuff. It's But in classic cameo fashion, where they bring back a thing you didn't like, but now you're like, I like it now. I was like hooting and hollering, or at least I went, oh, wow, she's in it. When's Ben Affleck rocking up? He didn't. That moment where she rocks up, and Wesley Snipes rocks up, and that third guy rocks up, who we'll talk about in a second, which is the best part of the movie. And they're like, there's a fourth person in the team. I'm like, oh yeah, he is, Ben Affleck. And then it's X-23, and Daphne Keene's like, I'm here. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's cool. I'm like, but that got spoiled for me by a trailer, the movie release. So who cares? It's not a reveal at all. You ruined it with your trailers, you psychopaths. And so last but absolutely not least, include the best part of the whole movie, and the thing that only Deadpool can do. This is what I'm talking about, just like doing stuff that only Deadpool can do. GAMBIT. Played by Channing Tatum. Everything you could possibly hope for. Honestly, seeing Channing Tatum in this movie, I feel like in a lot of ways is funnier and more exciting, more interesting than him in his own solo movie. His solo movie has been announced for like, I feel like at least 10 years. It can't be 10 years. I'm not going to Google it because who cares? But it feels like it's been announced for 10 years. He's been cast for so long. I remember hearing stuff where they're like, is he going to do the accent? And then people being like, he's got an accent coach. He's got a dialogue coach. Like, they're doing the accent. And it's like, he shouldn't do the accent. And the trouble production and all this stuff. And it never got made. And it will never be made. And now Deadpool has him in the movie. And having him in the void is a really fun way where Elektra and Blade would be like, I'm doing this for the family I have back home that I want to get to. And they both say stuff like that. And then he's like, I don't know, was I born here? It's like really funny, vague stuff, because it's like, just every single line he said was like, he's like, I'm fighting for the people that I never got to save, because he never got a movie. Did you get it? It's a reference or whatever. I'm making it sound like I'm being sarcastic. I loved it. I thought every single line he said was so funny. He does the accent. It's atrocious and terrible. He's funny because Channing Tatum is funny. Would he have been funny in a Gambit movie made by Fox in like 2017 or whenever they were making it? Like, would it have been a good movie? Probably not. But seeing him in this, kind of parodying the idea that he was going to be Gambit and having fun with the accent, having fun with the idea that everything about him is like, everything he's saying is as a character, but it's all like, you know, the subtext is he didn't make a movie, so he doesn't exist. And he's like, I was born in the void, because he doesn't exist. Just utterly delightful. Honestly, it was just that moment, and the Chris Evans as Human Torch were just so good. It makes me go, where's Hugh Jackman as himself? Where's this? Where's that? Where's the four Hulks fighting Wolverine? It's a reference to the comics, but also you're doing a thing. It just feels like there's so much in this movie that they could have made more and done bigger. And last but not least, Deadpool fights a million Deadpools, and it's, Matthew McConaughey's wife. They all got on the phone and did a voice. but some stunt guy did it. And all of that stuff is really fun. I really like the kind of silly, cartoonish CGI, like one-shot old boy style, where they're all disappearing and the blood's exploding and they push them all back into the shot. That was really fun. Really fun. He puts on the mask. He's like, let's bloody effing go. Let's effing and jeffing go. He's got the mask. It's all good stuff. But there was a moment when they beat all the Deadpools and you're like, okay, we've done all of the things. We've done all the things for the movie. We've said goodbye to the Fox universe. You don't want to intro Deadpool properly into the MCU with, like, the Avengers or, like, CGI him into the back of, like, every single scene. The end of Deadpool 2 had Deadpool, like, go back and kill a bunch of people and time travel through all the other things. And he shot himself on the head. He shot bad Deadpool, mute Deadpool in the head. You don't want to have a montage through the post-credit scene of him jumping through all the MCU movies and just being like, I'm here, and you CGI him in badly. I just think there's, like, so many missed opportunities where I'm like, we've gone so big, you don't want to just, like, fully do it? I don't know. It just feels like a wasted opportunity, because, like, when's the next opportunity to actually do that? I mean, I guess Deadpool 4, but I don't want to wait 4 years for it. Do it now! Do it now when we all kind of, like, sick of MCU. And we're all like, Agatha all along. Honestly, I thought that trailer was better than Captain America 4. More like Captain America. I'm sorry. In conclusion, it sounds like I didn't like this movie. I loved it. I just wanted more cameos, because I'm a horrible, unsatisfied nerd, and I'll never be happy.